These are honestly amazing tips that I wish somebody would have told me. I had to learn as I went. I'm giving y'all everything that you need before you even start. Hey, it's Original Curly J, and today we have the last and final episode of Back to School, The Curly J Way. I'm gonna come earlier next year and have plenty more videos next year, but just to do a little something for right now, we're gonna end it with 10 studying tips. And I do want to say thank you guys so much for the support lately, and we are so close to 200 subscribers. Keep sharing, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We have so much coming. The consistency is not stopping. We are gonna keep this ball rolling. Same thing with social media, which if you haven't already, follow me. And without further ado, let's get into these 10 studying tips. Y'all already know what I'm whipping out. Y'all already do. I got all the goodies right here. The first tip I want to give you guys is to color coordinate your notes. Whether that's highlight certain sections or literally use colored pens or both. Color coordinate them in some type of way, especially per subject. Studies have shown that colors can increase visual memory and our arousal level, which is going to then affect our moods in a positive way. So therefore, you're gonna wanna go back and read those notes more if there's color than if it's just in black or blue pen. This was definitely a game changer for me, so I'm telling you, color coordinate. You can even do color coordination with flashcards. You can do certain notebook colors for certain classes. Color coordinate as much as possible because your mind is going to be driven to it even more. Next thing is that I definitely recommend to look up practice problems, especially with math or even things such as reading and writing class. Why is that? Why? Because when you search up practice problems, it's going to give you more practice on the subject versus rereading the same information over and over and over again, especially with math. Math doesn't have a whole lot of words in there. So you got to do some practice problems in order to become better. And if you can't find any practice problems, ask your teacher. They'll give you practice problems. The next tip is to space out your studying. Do not overdo it. Do not do 3-hour sessions. Take it in 20-minute chunks and take breaks in between to give yourself a rest. Because if you're putting too much information inside your brain at once, you're gonna have a hard time remembering the first things that you went over rather than the last things that you went over. You get me? So do it in increments, don't overload yourself, and make sure that you're studying ahead of time. So you can get as much time in to study for that specific subject before the test. This is a game changer, but just like you're gonna space out your studying, you also wanna reward yourself after studying, whether that's with something sweet like a cookie, or let's say you reward yourself by watching something that you really wanted to watch all day, but instead you studied, and now, because you studied, go watch that movie. You get me? This is gonna trick your mind into getting through studying to get that reward. As humans, we are looking for reward, positive reinforcement. So you're positively reinforcing yourself after doing a task that you don't really wanna do, but you really need to do because that is top priority. And once you get that priority out the way, you're giving yourself something because you did it, right? The next tip is to talk about it or say it out loud and create mnemonics or fun ways of remembering information. Now, philosophers refer to this as the production effect, which means that the active cognitive process of encoding the words into speech also help to encode it into long-term memory, which means if you say the information out loud as you're reading it, or you talk to someone about that information, or create fun sayings to repeat to yourself about the information, you're more likely going to memorize it rather than saying it inside of your brain or reading just inside your head, which is a great example when you're listening to a song that you really like. If you are singing that song out loud, you're more likely going to remember the lyrics than just reading the lyrics. It works for all information, including information that you need to help you pass that test. And even though somebody might find it boring, at least just try to bring it up inside of a conversation, especially if you're gonna have a conversation with your parents after school one day, let's say, and you just wanna tell them about something that you learned, something that you kinda need to remember, but maybe talking about it to your parents, it'll help you remember even more. Next, this is a really big one, and this is something that I said inside of my 12 things that I wish I knew before high school, and that is do not procrastinate. Because here's the thing, when you procrastinate, you're gonna find yourself more stressed out because you're rushing and doing last minute things. And if you're stressed out, you really can't focus on what it is you're even trying to study. And if you can't focus, then you're not gonna remember and obtain that information. See the domino effect? You see it happening? And if you can't obtain that information, even though you procrastinated and still got in that study time, then you're just gonna fail the test anyway. So studying, even if it was last minute, didn't do anything for you. You honestly should have just went into the test without studying at all. So to avoid all of that, do not procrastinate. Get it done as soon as you get home from school or as soon as you have the time to study. And like I said earlier, make sure that you study ahead of time, especially if you know you have a test on a certain day. And if you know what subject it's gonna be on. Start studying as soon as you find out and do, like I said, 20-minute chunks just to study a little bit daily. So that way by the time you get to that test, you didn't procrastinate, you studied a lot, and you obtained that information as best you could. So then you can really say, I tried my best. Next, this is a big one, and I know a lot of people have a hard time doing this, but put your phone on Do Not Disturb or put it away from you. I know a lot of studying is on electronics nowadays, so sometimes you have to use your phone to study with like PowerPoints or flashcards, like on certain websites or whatever. But put it on Do Not Disturb so that way you do not get any notifications while you are studying. And then of course, if you're studying written information, put that phone somewhere, put it away, put it across the room, still on silent, leave it alone. You have to limit your distractions. I know some people like to study with music, but sometimes that's not even a good thing. Or even having TV on inside the background, you're gonna wanna watch it, you're gonna wanna listen to the music and listen to what they're saying. I'm telling you, 0 distractions. Again, 20-minute chunks, you can do that. 20 minutes off of an electronic and nothing in the air, no sound, no anything. You can do that. The next tip is to use flashcards. These were my best friend. My best friend. I literally love flashcards. They're $1 at the store for like 100. You can do like an answer on one side and a question on the other. You get me? Super easy. You can use them for yourself. Somebody else can help you. Flashcards are just so helpful. Again, make them fun, make them colorful, so that way you obtain the information even more. And you can travel with your flashcards. Bring them with you. Take them to school so that way when you have downtime, you can pull them out. Boom, 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 boom. I used to do that too. The next tip that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but you know what? This is a big one, and that is to paraphrase. Paraphrase the information you're taking notes on. Do not write word for word. If you have a word and then you have a definition next to it that's this big, you're not going to remember it. I'm telling you. Paraphrase it as much as possible. You know, take out the regular words like a or the or and. Add some commas in there. Make it as simple as possible. If you don't paraphrase and you're doing word for word, then you're literally rereading something, and that is not going to obtain inside of your head the way you think. As a matter of fact, your brain is going to get jumbled on what the actual point is versus what the overall is. And the overall can be so confusing for our brains to put into long-term memory, and that is not the point of our long-term memory. It is not to obtain all of this huge paragraph for you to remember. It's for you to obtain key words that are going to help you remember it as a whole. Ooh, you get me? Paraphrase, paraphrase, paraphrase. Oh, that was almost hard to say. And the last tip is to watch videos related to the topic that you are studying. They have hundreds of videos out there for certain subjects. And again, it goes back to the practice problems, but this time you're watching someone else do it. And you can even get easier ways to do certain things, like how to solve certain math problems or how to remember the periodic table and things like that. So watch videos related to that topic, because sometimes the videos will explain it better than maybe your teacher did. Therefore, you can get even more notes. And because I love you guys, you already know the deal. I have a bonus tip. Yes, tip number 11. And that is to use the buddy system. I know a lot of people like to do things on their own, study on their own. But if you have a friend, you have a partner, you have a family member, you can even ask a teacher or a coach. Have them help you study. They can read the question on one side, see if you got the answer right on the other side. Boom, 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 bam. Or if they need to give you certain math problems, again, you can fill it out right there and then they can see if you got it right. There are so many things that a buddy can help you retain that information. Plus, it makes studying a little more fun. And another plus is that that person is going to keep you on track. They're going to keep you focused and they're going to make sure that you do it. So don't be afraid, again, to ask somebody to help you study. And with that being said, we are all done with today's video. If you like this video, give it a huge thumbs up. And if it was super helpful, comment down below which tip you like to use or a tip that you're going to use. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And I hope you guys enjoyed this back to school series. Stay tuned as we have so much more coming your way. And I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.